for our social media program, The Buzz. I am Miss Watson. Well, it's good to be here. Happy Independence Day again from the Buzz team. We're wishing you happy Independence Day and happy New Year. But I'm not doing this one alone. I have my co-host with me, Gratitude. Gratitude, how are you doing? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Blossom. How are you doing today?
Good.
We're not twinning today. Why?
What?
We're not twinning.
I'm not really twinning.
Yeah. Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Buzz. We'll talk about what's trending and buzzing on the internet. Today's episode is promised to be very exciting and educative, so sit back and don't go anywhere. My name is Gratitude Mokwede, your Gen Z host.
Okay, well, we have our guest today on set already. We have a senior journalist and senior lecturer. We have Ruby and Abby in the house. It's good to have you, sir. Good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon and happy Independence Day to all Nigerians. But there are a lot of questions that were attached to that because when you look back, 127 years that Nigeria was given the name Niger area that we call Nigeria today, and 111 years that the amalgamation took place, where Southern and Northern Protectorate was put together under Lord Lugard, and 65 years that the nation has got its own independence. But how independent is Nigeria? That is big questions that every Nigerian will be asking at this time. So, but at the same time, we are still alive. So we still need to thank God. So October 1st is here, and we thank God.
Perfect. Well, we also have an amazing guest with us. We have Chris. He was on the show yesterday. But today, being Independence Day, he decided to grace the table again today. We have Chris as always. Good to have you.
Yeah, it's always amazing being on this table. It's great being here all the time. And then today is Independence celebration. I'm excited. I'm an ardent believer in Nigeria, and I always give Nigeria a chance. Yeah, the journey has been like a thorn in the midst of flowers. All right, but at the same time, I love this nation, and I believe in this nation, and I'm happy we're celebrating our independence. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's nice. Well, in the spirit of independence, let's play this music by Timi Dakolo, which says, "We are one." And we'll be right back to the studio to start the program properly. Stay with us. Right, welcome back. Now, that was a beautiful piece. That song is something that will last a very, very long time. It's been years he sang that song, but still for every time we need to call ourselves together, we need to celebrate independence. You see a lot of people playing the song just to celebrate Nigeria. Well, I'll say again, happy independence, happy 65 anniversary to Nigeria and Nigerians. Well, let's move on to what we have for today. First, before that, I want us to review the speech President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave earlier this morning as at 7. I will start from you, Nuruddin. From all his speech, what could you gather, or what do you think about his speech today to Nigerians?
Well, nothing changed. Just the same, the last two speeches he delivered last year, the upper year, nothing has changed. The only one that draw my own attention is talking about those people that have participated in making Nigeria stand till today. Talking about Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Alhaji Aliyu Tafawa Balewa, Aminu Kano, Margaret Ekpo, and all others that I cannot. They are numerous. Even my grandfather, Dauda Ashoroye Adegbero, those people that really make sure that we have what we call independence, Anthony Enahoro. But the politicians of them, when you relate it to what is today, then we don't have politicians today. Because at that particular time, all those people you talked about, go to Kano, you can see the monument named after Aminu Kano, but you cannot see his house. You cannot see, and you can see half his empathy today. Chief Jeremiah Awolowo, what he left till today is what we are still talking about. And that's why you see that the Southwest Nigeria, no matter how you want to create us, we are still the most educated. Nobody should have that. It's because of what he has done. You understand now? Through the Western region. And Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the competition they have then, with the kind of opportunities they are giving to their people. If Awolowo is doing this in the West, you see the eastern part of the country, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe wants to do something. You understand now? Tafawa Balewa and Aminu Kano, they want to play cash up. You understand now? In times of agriculture, you know, North is ahead of everybody. That is what these forefathers are put on ground. Then look at them as politicians. They are not after themselves. They are after what people will gain from them. Can we now relate it with what we have today? Then another thing again is that when president saying our economy has stayed the corner, Mr. President, I totally disagree. Look, whatever any reform, what we call reform in a country, in any single country, is the number of people you elevated, not the people that go down. As we speak, go to the reality. The woman selling pepper, selling yam, did not know economics. There is nothing concerned with micro economy, whatever you want to. What he wants to do, he wants to measure is what he or she is doing. That am I selling right? Am I getting more profit?
Right.
Do I have hospital to go? My children can they go to a public tertiary institution without breaking bank? Did I have any hospital to go? How secure I am? If you go to Okiode is a community under Ifelodun local government in Kwara State as we speak. That particular community is deserted. So you want to tell those people that Nigeria is good for them? So by the time you look at the area and everything, we have not taken out, we have not even done enough. That doesn't mean we've not done anything. But we have not done enough. Especially under it. So it's better. You still have another about 2 years to go, less than 2 years to go. It needs to make sure all those where that needs to be dotted, needs to be dotted. Before talking about re-election. Because one thing that is there is this, how people fear in their life is going to determine how you perform. And you are not the one that will create a room for exam. You are not the one that will set the question. You are not the one that will sit down for exam. And you are not the one that will mark yourself. Nigerians will mark you. And I know every Nigerian has the right to rate this administration. And they are rating it even on Independence Day.
Okay. All right. Well, let's hear from you, Chris. What do you say about the speech the president gave this morning?
Yeah, he said quite a lot. And but my take from what the president said, I think the summit for me would be that when he said the worst is over, for me that inspired hope, and it's something that is tangible that we can actually relate with. Well, for starters, Mr. Prayer has never denied the pains that his reforms, has brought to Nigeria and to Nigerians. He has never denied it. And then, but he has always made us understand that it's a process. And that I totally agree with. Because, reforms, of course, yes, before the gains of reform, it passed through the process of pains. Reform, naturally, the way it works, you cannot have a great nation without first driving a reform. Every nation that became great went through the pain of reform. And then when reform is out there on the table, it's not a smiling time. So let's not joke about it. Let's not lie to ourselves. You cannot be undergoing a reform like a surgical operation and you expect to be taking tea. No. It's not a time of enjoyment. It's a time of pain. So we must understand that there are some gains that won't come without you going through pains. And a reform is such. Every nation on the earth that transformed to greatness went through it, and in the time of their reform, they went through pains. All right. So we must pay that sacrifice. Okay, so we cannot stop that. And like I said, and even in America today, as huge as America is, there are still dark shades in America, people going through pains one way or the other. Yeah,
I completely agree. But before we move further into the stories, the other stories we have for today, let's go for our commercial break. Then we'll be right back to the studio to continue our stories. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Well, we've had some analysis of what we have today. The speech of the president. So what I'm going to do right now is just go straight to what we have for today. A lot of things have been trending, but we'll take it one after the other so we can at least take few of the topics today before the close of the day. Well, the first story I'll be taking is the finance minister staff jubilates as director retire. Well, the staff of the Federal Ministry of Finance broke into jubilation as they celebrated the retirement of their director, Bala. Now, what is usually a formal farewell turned into a lively spectacle with employees chanting Bala must go while singing and dancing. Videos from the event have seen gone viral, capturing the unusual display of relief and excitement among the workforce. The retirement has stirred conversations about workplace leadership, with observers noting that the mood of the send-off reflected staff's collective sentiment about Bala's tenure. So let's watch the video. Well, they were jubilating and saying Bala, chanting basically, Bala must go. We'll be right back. Bala must go. I will start with Nuruddin. What do you think would have been the major reason why, rather than them giving a proper send forth or send off, the statement written there was send off. So they are not sending him forth. What could be the major reason why they are celebrating?
Well, in public service, this is not new in public service, especially when you are a kind of boss. It's of two ways. The kind of boss that you are not a very good manager, where you put sentiments and you are not fair to everybody. So you can see this kind of thing. And at times you could see somebody that is, that maybe is so strict, but when you are strict, there is fairness in strictness. So you can't be strict and everybody waiting. No.
Yeah.
When you are strict, what it means is that everybody must work according to the rule. And in according to the rule, people that go for external whatever, they'll get their allowances. So, but if you are a kind of a boss that only make sure that nobody will get any allowances, any extra codes, anything, but you are gaining what, okay, like you don't want people to steal, but you are stealing, and they see you stealing and they can't talk. They'll wait for when you are going to retire.
Yeah, that's true.
That is when they are going to do that kind of thing. They used to call it shower gas. That is what they call it, is shower gas. They will wait for the day you are not going, because any seat you have, as we are sitting down today, some people have sat down here.
Yes.
We are sitting down today. We are not going to be there tomorrow. Some people they are going to sit down here. So the same way that when you are in offices, you fear to everybody. Everybody cannot like you. But when you are feared, that fairness, that word fairness, is what is even missing in Nigeria. I'm telling you, not everybody that wants to be a billionaire or millionaire. No. Some people just give them their little space, let them do whatever they can do and make their particular thing. So that's why when he's talking about reform, I just laugh. The same sentiment of reform is what Obasanjo 8 years told us. The same reform Yar'Adua 2 years told us. The same reform Jonathan 6 years told us. The same reform Buhari 8 years told us. Must we die because of reform? And one thing there is that the reform we are talking about, is it the first time that we are going to have a president doing reform? It's important that we need to cry out. We may have the ability to eat and drink. Some people cannot. Maybe because of where I stay and those people that I work, because I love to live with the downtrodden. I want to be hearing their voice. I want to be their voice. And that is the thing. If you see how can you describe somebody that is working in a local government very closer to this place, and at the end of the day, is collecting just 10,000 naira. 10,000 naira is not his salary, but they are used other ones basically to pay loan. If somebody is collecting 100,000 naira, he has 2 children in tertiary institution. Public, tell me one public institution. I'm talking about federal. I'm not even talking about state. That the school fees is less than 200,000 naira. You understand now? And somebody that is working 100,000 naira, they are going to feed you. They are going to transport you. He has a lot of bills to pay. And with the value of our money now, so automatically people need to cry out. By the time we are saying, let us be calm, we don't be calm to politicians because they have a timeline. How can you say we should be calm? The president have escalated a new boss within these 2 years. We have a minister of humanitarian that was alleged of corruption and nothing has happened after 2 years. We see people living in luxury and you said we should cool down. So all these things, by the time you put together, and the same thing goes to this Bala, is of 2 ways. But one thing there is that when you are fear, even when you are in office, 50% will like you, it's still better than when you have a kind of show of shame like this. Shower gas. When they do shower gas in a ministry like Ministry of Finance, I'm telling you, go and check that particular man. He may be doing some things. Maybe he did some things right, did some things wrong. Maybe the level of fairness is not well weighed. Because at times, you see all these civil servants, the one they call evil servants in some places. No matter, in fact, they want you to even open the vault of that ministry and be giving to all of them. They have that mindset. So whether the man is too strict, no fairness, because you could have, in fact, in the same Ministry of Finance, under Kemi Adeosun, there was a particular man. Some people are hailing. Some people are hailing. Some people are abusing. Yeah. You understand now? So automatically, whatever it is be, whoever that is doing that, if the man is upright and they are doing it for him, he should just relax. Those people that are doing that, they are going to regret their action because another person that will replace could be opposite of what he is.
Yeah.
So that's it.
True. Anyway, Chris, what's your take? What do you think that could have been?
Okay, yeah. For me, it's two dimensions. It tells you about firm leadership because I always say this. An average Nigerian is corrupt. And when you try to straighten them, they will hate you like hell. So, and I'm not just corrupt, we are loose. We complain flawed. The government is guilty not doing the right thing to challenge the flooding, that has messed up our infrastructure and all of that. But also look at the abuse of Nigerians. How Nigerians negatively get involved with that situation. Alright? We're not disciplined. We are not, we are corrupt as a people. We only hate corruption if we're not benefiting from it. So if there's a system in place that is checkmating corruption, we will hate on it. So if that man is, I don't know him personally, and I've not worked with him closely. I don't know what he's doing in the Ministry of Finance, but I do know for sure that many Nigerians are corrupt, and if that man is firm in office, they will hate him for that. He might not be doing anything wrong, but just for the fact that he has not allowed it to be business as usual, because we know what it used to be. In fact, there was a time I was in Abuja, all right, and then somebody came to me and just said, look, get account. Like there's a leak in Ministry of Justice. If you can present a GTB account, you will send with 10,000 naira. And just as many you can present, you get a commission. I was in Abuja when that happened about some 14 years ago. Okay? So, and then it happens like that. So we understand this kind of leakages and all of that. So it happens. So if somebody has come into a system and it blocks those loopholes, you will hate him. Nigeria will hate him. They will backlash and all of that. That is not to say ultimately that the guy was probably doing right. I'm just saying that it could be that his firmness didn't go down well with the people and then they hate him for that. And they don't want too much when they go. Things like that. That could be it. And on the other hand, too, yes, you can be firm on the wicked, just like he was trying to say, too. That also could be possible because we've seen people that are streets and they make it look like it's hell. For crying out loud, man is not made for law. Law is made for man. At some point, if you cannot bend, you will break.
Of course.
There should be a human face in every policy. I totally agree with that. I believe in fairness. I believe in strictness. I also believe that there should be human face in implementation. That is important. The other side of it is fear leadership. Many people at the top, we have a problem with, do have problem with human management leadership. Sometimes the way you lead people, you just feel you are their boss, you just call the shots, all of that. You have the failure in human management. It should be such that your people will be willing to take bullet for you. The people you lead, you should lead sacrificially, you should lead by example, you should lead and feel their pulse. You should be one that they can come to. The best way to lead people is not to order them around. Is be friends with them. Let them have the freedom, the freeness to come to you. So there's fairness in leadership. That is important. Be part of them. Be worried for them. Let them want to go to battle for you. That is leadership. If your people are not willing to go to the battle for you, take bullets for you, you have failed as a leader. So it's important you lead people in such a way. The human management in leadership is extremely important. Pardon me to just digress a little. 94, we had a golden era in football with Western and all of that. Western was a very strict guy, very, very strict coach. But at the time that he was drilling the players, the guys couldn't move. And then they were like, murmuring, as if we need to pause. What happened? The next thing, he just stood up, tapped his hand, and started jogging. Everybody went with him. That's leadership. They don't just call the boss for nothing. That's leadership, you understand? That's the people will go with you and they'll go to battle with you. That's what happened. So human management failure happened. And then going back to the reform, there's also what we call reform management. is important. We've seen reform with the Obasanjo in the banking industry, Soludo. We've seen some part of reform with the Enya now, Sanusi, and all of that. We've seen reform in patches and all of that. But what I'm saying here is this. There is an imperative need for Nigeria to be overhauled in aggressive reform. Many of us saying demand money reform and then welcoming the reform. It's not as if we're enjoying it. The truth is, the bite is hitting out on everybody.
Yeah.
Look at what Pegasus and then Nupeng are doing presently now, attacking Dangote, whatever. It's affecting everybody. I will just pray this nonsense will not continue for too long. You understand? So I'm not saying that we're enjoying the reform, but the thing is this. For Nigeria to transit into that place of potential and success, we cannot avoid the reform. We have avoided reform for too long, and that's why we're still where we are today.
And part of the reform is that our refineries must not work, but a private individual should have refinery. It's part of reform.
No, you're misunderstanding it. That is not right. That is misinforming the public. What we have seen here.
No, it's part of the reform.
No, that's not true. You are misinforming the public.
And they are importing fuels, and the NNPC is supporting those people importing it.
What I'm trying to say is this.
And EFCC and NNPC did not have refinery, but at first they want to be selling the fuel for Dangote that holds refinery. And part of the reform.
Sorry, let me learn.
That one is not the misinformation, it's a fact.
Let me learn on this.
It's a fact.
With the Dangote refinery that we have seen, we've seen the support starting with the Buhari administration. Mm-hmm. It gave Dangote a lot of support to make this happen. Now, why Nigerian refineries are not working is because of the power play around it. Because some people are want importation to continue. There is what we call vested interest. That's what has killed our refineries. As a matter of fact, Warri refineries broke down because of lack of crude to refine. This same crude we generate in Nigeria. So it is intentional that our refineries is moribund. It's intentional for their own private gains. So it took political will from the Buhari administration that has transited to this administration to make Dangote refinery work, and that is like a saving grace for Nigeria. And we are seeing the enemies of this nation again ganging up to suffocate Dangote refinery, so that we can go back to that old ways of importing fuel and all the nonsense and make the private money for themselves, and which is not right for the nation. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is this: reform management is key in reform, and yes, it brought about some hardship, and we have also seen from the other side how this administration has also tried to cushion the effect of the pain, like Nelfon now. So you can now go to school with your schooling entirely funded. That's a relief on parents. My son is in private university. He's going back to school, and then it will be by this weekend. And then we are putting together by ₦1 million to fund the school fees. You understand? It's in private sector. I'm not complaining because I had options. Right? One thing to say is probably not every parent could do that. Right? But those in public sector, in public university now, right? You can now school for the entire 4 years without to pay a dime in school fees. That's a huge relief for parents. All right. Now, at the same time, there's what you call credit corp, and it's working well. Whereby you can access fund, you can buy car, you can buy a house, you can buy stuff, all right, and you pay like a mortgage system, and it's already on ground, it's already playing out. That is a relief, a cushioning effect to the biting effect of reform. So what I'm saying in essence is that reform is imperative. We just have to sacrifice and go through it. At the same time, we must hold those in leadership accountable, because you cannot make Nigeria go through the drill and you are flanking in office. No, we won't take that. We will shout, we will cry, and then you must lead by example. That's how it is. You must lead by example. But that is not to say we throw reform away. No, reform is the way to go. In fact, it is the only way, the hard way. That is the only way to go. For Nigeria to transit to prosperity, we must pass through the phase of reform.
I'm telling you that any reform that is making people to have, that have before, should not have, is not a reform.
No, it's a process.
I'm coming. This is not the first time. Reform is not, this government is not the one that coined that word reform now. And this is not the only government we are going to have. After him, we are still going to have government.
So other nations had reforms. Was it Tea Party with a reform? No, they went through pain. They went through trouble. That is the nature of reform.
That
you don't jollof with reform.
Ordinary,
it comes with pain.
If you are having reform,
yeah, it comes with pain.
Crying.
Yes, it's part of the process.
The cushion effect you are talking about. When people talk about Nelfon, I just laugh. The reason why I'm having is that is my sector. I know what I'm saying. I know what is happening there. Look, if you have one kid in UI as I speak, you will discover that taking taking that school fee alone, if the parent can still not afford housing that kids will stay for that school, if they cannot still afford his feeding,
but they do 20,000 as teachers. Part of the one. They do 20,000.
Look, as I'm talking today, now I have 2 kids in UR. 20,000 naira for what? To move from Albany and come in to UI for just 1 month. 20,000 naira. Leave that one aside. What I'm saying, come in. Please, when we say reform, they will do as if everybody in public institution, we are taking care of their school fees. No, that is not the reality. That is not the fact. And one thing there is that there are a lot of parents that what they want is that don't pay our school fees for it. Let our business okay. Let us have whatever we are doing. Let's have the means to send our children to school. A lot of small scale business owners, they are crying seriously as we speak. And that is what we are saying. Food as we speak is difficult for people. It's not about those people that are half-rage. If somebody can send his child to private school, whatever, if he has the means, no problem. But those people that are the downtrodden, sir, do you know how much federal college students pay as we speak? Do you know how much the federal government college students pay if you want to hear in JSS1?
But technical school is now absolutely free.
Let me now tell you.
People in technical school now go to school.
Is it
absolutely free?
I'm coming. Is it compulsory?
That's a question.
Because I'm poor, I must send my kids to technical. What if what I see in my kids is that it's not going to be in technical schools? That's what we're saying.
So it's working for some people.
Ordinary Lagos here, model school, go and ask how much the ND web by JSS1 is going to pay. And you are talking about people should now be jumping because of reform. Must they die before that particular reform? Or this government is the first one? And that's one of the things. If you're looking from one high, we won't be able to get it. Maybe because I'm in that sector, I understand it. What makes somebody to be in school is not only school fees. It's not.
Yeah, of course.
It's not only school fees is just the mandate, is like the umbrella one.
Yeah.
What you spend on books is more than the school fees in a session. I'm telling you, what you spend on food and housing is more than this.
Sir, sorry, ma'am, just a minute. I'll be
because you are taking reforms that everything is.
I want to read some messages, please. I want to read some messages because our time is almost up. Obviously, we probably might not be able to take the second topic, but I want us to talk about the tax reform too also in addition. But before that, let me just read some messages which might be away from what we're talking, but I need my viewers to be part of this. This one says, good day, please. I would like you guys to talk about Petroleum Association and Dangote. Freedom of association, and if I don't want to associate, is it a crime? Where another person say, I get upset each time I hear our leaders asking us to make sacrifices while they are living in luxury. Nigeria today is another animal farm. This is Bishop Darlington from Alagbado in Lagos State. Another one says, Mr. Chris, please, if the government wants to reform their own things, the process won't be hard. Why the masses? Strong Tower, this is Strong Tower from Ikorodu. Well, another one says, APC is going to win. Well, we have a commercial break. Please hold on. This is the last one I'm reading. Then we'll go for a commercial break. This one says this. They said the worst is over. That means that suffering continues. Why are they deceiving us? This is Simon from Lagos. So when we come back, we'll continue the program. Let's go for commercial break.